Hare Krishna. Can you hear my voice? Am I audible? Is my voice audible? Okay, let's start. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So thank you all very much for joining today's session. We have been discussing from the fifth chapter of the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The chapter is titled as Rishabhadev's instructions to his sons. Very powerful instructions. Nayam deho dehabajam driloke kashtan kaman arhate vidbujam ye. Tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam shuddhyed yasmat brahma saukyam tanantam. So this human life is not meant for ahara nidra bhaya and maitunam. It is meant for divya tapa. That divya tapa means that tapasya which will lead one to a transcendental result of liberation or prema. So how do you get the inspiration to do that? Mahat sevam dwara mahor vimukte stamodwaram yoshitam sangi sangam. Mahantaste samachitta prashanta vimanyavas suhridas sadavoye. It is only through serving the mahats that one will get the impetus to one will get the faith in either the gradual path or the direct path of bhakti. And these mahats are two different types. By serving the devotees, you get the agyata sukriti, by which one gets the faith in pure devotional service, by which one can attain prema. And by serving the mahats who are on the gradual path, like the perfect jnana yogis, ashtanga yogis, etc. By that you get the inspiration to follow the gradual path. And both these mahats are uh, Samachitta, Prashanta, Vimanyava, Suhrida, Sadavoye. They have all these wonderful good qualities. But of the two, the devotee Mahat is superior. Eva Mahishe Krita Sauhridartha Janeshu Deham Bharavartikeshu Griheshu Jaya Atmajarati Matsu Na Priti Yukta Deha Yogena Priti Yukta Yavadartas Chaloke. So he says that those who have, but these devotees, they have their goal of life achieving prema towards me. Okay. And they don't have any affection for those who are materialists. They have no affection means they don't look for their emotional fulfillment through materialistic relations. They might, they are very much willing to extend their hands to help them out. Okay. And they spend their lives yavad arthas chaloke. Whatever comes of its own accord, utilize it just to maintain the body and soul together while spending the rest of the time in Krishna conscious activities. Okay. So then um, he says, but on the other hand, one who is inattentive to this path of bhakti, how is his life? Nunam pramattah kurute vikarma yadindriya pritaya apranoti na sadhu manye yata atmanoyam asannapi kleshada asadeha. He says, but that jiva who is inattentive to bhakti, indriya pritaya apranoti, he has no other choice but to engage only in activities of sense gratification, and that leads to sinful reactions. And by sinful reactions, he receives another body, which gives more and more suffering. And he says that this kind of life is not good. So we were discussing the other day when he says, Na sadhu manye, I don't think this is a good way of living one's life. When this conclusion is presented by Rishabdev, one should understand that hidden in it is the instruction that he gives to all his sons who are all leaders, which means be very careful. It's not just sufficient that you live a life dedicated to bhakti, but you should definitely facilitate your subjects, the people who are dependent on you, to also, you should facilitate that they take up to bhakti. Okay. So that they don't live a life which is a sadhu life, na sadhu manyi kind of life. Then the question is, if the problem is sinful activities, if the sinful activities are going to bind me to this material world, then let me engage in pious activities to escape the material world. He says, Parabhavas tavad abodha jato yavanna jigyasata atmatattvam Yavat kriyas tavad idan manovai karmatmakam yena sharira bandha. He says, actually, as long as the jiva does not inquire about Atma, as long as the jiva does not inquire about the Atma, tavat parabhavaha, till then bondage will continue. Okay. And as long as one performs pious and sinful acts, the mind will remain absorbed in action, material actions. And as long as the mind will remain absorbed in material actions, bondage will not stop. So therefore, it's not that by mere stopping of sinful activities and engaging um, in pious activities, one's bondage will stop. One should actually start inquiring about the self. Now the question is, okay, is inquiring about the self sufficient to attain liberation? He says, Evam mana karma vasham prayunkte avidyayatman upadiyamane pritirna yavad mai vasudeve na muchyate deha yogena tavad. No, this is not sufficient. Uh, just by inquiry into the self, it is not sufficient. One should uh, develop preeti towards me. So preeti here means bhakti. Bhakti here means an element of bhakti. Not that one has Shuddha Bhakti or even Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti. That bhakti can be Gauna also, Guni Bhuta Bhakti also, secondary bhakti. Okay. But that bhakti is definitely needed. It is not possible to be a demigod worshipper, demigod worshipping karma yogi to reach the stage of Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga and attain liberation. It is not possible. Mukti pradatam sarvesham Vishnu revana samshayah. Mukti can be given only by Vishnu, no one else. So there is no question of a, a demigod worshipping uh, gradual practitioner attaining liberation. In fact, such a demigod worshipping gradual practitioner is not doing gradual practice also because yayesham purusham sakshad atma prabhavam ishwaram na bhajanti avajananti sthanat brashtat patantyadaha. Such a person, the very uh, uh, because of the uh, because of not worshipping Vishnu, he automatically falls down from his position of Varnashrama. So there is no question of even uh, gaining proper pious reactions because he is not doing the very essence of Varnashrama, uh, which is to worship Vishnu. Okay. Then he says, so okay, so if I take up to the path of proper jnana or proper bhakti, then am I guaranteed liberation in this lifetime only? Am I guaranteed liberation in this lifetime only? This question arises. So he says, not really. Yadana pasyatyayata guneham swarte pramattah sahasa vipaschit gatasmritir vindati tatra tapan asadya maitunya magaram agnyah. He says, no, that practice of jnana yoga or bhakti yoga should attain the state of perfection, which is characterized by complete cleansing of heart. Only such a person he will attain liberation. Otherwise, if material desires, anartha nivritti is not completed, is not complete, then such a person, vindati tatra tapan, gatasmritir vindati tatra tapan, asadya maitunya magaram agnyah. He becomes a fool and suddenly forgetting his true nature, he attains a house meant for sexual pleasure and experiences extreme suffering. This happens. So one should not say that, oh, I have taken up to bhakti. By the end of his life, this life I'm guaranteed to achieve prema or I'm guaranteed to go back home, back to Godhead. No, that guarantee is not there. We have to pass the exam. It's not just by merely enrolling in a course, we get the degree. We have to write the exam, pass the exam, and then only. But the school will prepare you for the exam. The school will prepare you for the exam. Okay. So is it possible to achieve perfection in one lifetime? Yes. But is it normal for ordinary conditioned souls taking the path of bhakti, not kripa siddhi, but sadhana siddhi, to achieve siddhi in one lifetime? Rare, very rare. Generally, about 2 or 3 lifetimes it takes, with solid efforts from the practitioner. Very rarely, if the practitioner is extraordinarily free of offenses, then if he is completely free of offenses, then one chanting and he reaches bhava. But that is very, very rare, almost impossible. But in some cases, the offenses may be very less. In such cases, progress may be very fast. So in such cases, one lifetime is possible. Otherwise, if one gets extraordinary association and by some reason the that senior devotee or that advanced devotee is extremely advanced and he is very much intent on somehow catching us by our shika and pulling us to the end, you know, to the end of the race very quickly. And we are also very much attached to that very great personality. And then there is a chance. But generally, it takes 2 or 3 lifetimes with solid efforts, solid conscious efforts from the practitioner. It is possible. Okay. Even for someone like Bharat Maharaj, of course, Bharat Maharaj's case is also rare. Generally, for a person who has reached the stage of bhava, maximum one lifetime he may take to reach the extraordinary levels of prema, or generally that lifetime only he may achieve perfection. But in the case of Bharat Maharaj, 3 lifetimes it took, the lifetime of Bharat Maharaj, then the lifetime of a deer, then then Jada Bharata. It took him 3 lifetimes. That is just to increase, enhance the degree of prema, because prema has multiple levels. Beyond the basic prema, there are multiple levels. There are multiple levels that can be experienced even with this sadhana siddha deha. Okay. Even in this spiritualized material body. And then at some point, the spiritualized material body cannot handle uh, the ecstatic symptoms beyond a particular level. Then one gives up this body and gets the body of an eternal associate. So the point is that it is not that in one lifetime perfection is guaranteed, but perfection is guaranteed provided we put in these solid efforts. Okay, like that. But in this, whether gradual path or the direct path of bhakti, one should be careful about material attachments, especially attachments to the opposite sex. Pumsastriya mituni bhavametam tayor mitor hridayagganti mahuhu ato griha kshetra sutapta vittair janasya mohoya mahammameti. Because it's a dual knot. Even if one person gives up, the other person also has to give up for that knot to be broken. And this kind of a knot uh, creates deep illusion in the form of griha, kshetra, sutta, apta, vittaihi. Okay, all these things. And it creates this aham mameti, very strong consciousness. Um, okay. Then he says, then Rishabhdev says that, but by the practice of either the gradual path or the direct path, success is guaranteed, provided you properly follow the path. Okay. And then he first describes the path of Jnana Yoga or Bhakti Mishra Jnana. Yada mano hridayaggantirasya karmanubaddo drida ashlateta tada janat samparivartate smad muktah paramyati atihaya hetum. When the knot in the heart or the mind, even though tied very tightly by the karma vasanas, when it becomes loose, by the practice of Jnana Yoga, then one becomes free from the bondage between man and woman, because that is the most difficult form of bondage. Uh, to escape one's attachment to things is easier, but to escape one's attachment to people, especially the opposite sex, is very, very difficult. Okay. So then he continues. Then he discusses the various limbs of Jnana Mishra Bhakti. You will see that some limbs will be the limbs of Jnana, some limbs will be the limbs of Bhakti. Hamse Gurau Mai Bhaktyanu Vitrishnaya Dvanda Titikshaya Cha Sarvatra Jantor Vyasanavagatya Jignasaya Tapaseha Nivritya Mat Karmabir Mat Kataya Cha Nityam Mat Deva Sangat Gunakirtanam Me Nirvairas Samyo Pashamena Putra Jihasaya Deha Gehatma Buddhehe. He talks about one can destroy the body called Ahankar by devotion to Guru. Me as Paramahamsa, by lack of desire, by tolerance of dualities, by understanding the suffering of all jivas, by inquiry into bhakti of the Lord, by austerities and by rejection of everything except the Lord, then by actions dedicated to me, by speaking about me constantly, by associating with the devatas of whom I am the master, which means learning to see the devatas, or wherever association of the devatas is involved, um, seeing them as my servants. That is the meaning. It's not that they have to allot some time to exclusively associate with the devatas. Not like that. Uh, by chanting my glories and so on. So these are all, some of the limbs are limbs of Jnana, some of them are limbs of Bhakti. So this is Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Adhyatma Yogena Vivikta Sevaya Pranendriyatma Vijayena Sadryak Sat Shraddhaya Brahmacharyena Shashvad Asam Pramadena Yamena Vacham Sarvatra Madbhava Vichakshanena Jnanena Vijnana Virajitena Yogena Dhrityudyama Sattva Lingam Yapohet Kushalo Aham Akyam. So in this way, he says that endowed with determination, effort, and enthusiasm. These are all important. Then nothing happens automatically. So one gives up the subtle body by this Adhyatma Yoga, by completely controlling the senses, life affairs, and mind, by faith in the scriptures, constant celibacy, non-rejection of duties. We had a long discussion about it, that if someone does not take up to the path of Siddha Bhakti, then even if one reaches the stage of Jnana, um, it is recommended that one continues to perform one's Varnashrama duties. Sannyasa karma yogascha nishreyasa karavubhav tayostu karma sannyasat karma yogo vishishyate, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So karma yoga is still better because it is little safe, and also you get an opportunity to set the right example for other people who may not be qualified for Jnana Yoga. Karmashayam hridayagranti bandham avidyaya sadhitam apramattah anena yogena yatopadesham samyak vyapohya uparameta yogat. So concluding this discussion, he says, one should yata upadesham, one should take all these instructions from the Guru and not whimsically do it. And by practice of this yoga with attention, one should completely destroy the bondage created by the knot in the heart, in which dwells all the karmas or karma vasanas, and which is produced by ignorance. Then one should give up the process as well. We saw giving up the process, jnana sannyas. One understands that at every stage of the gradual path, when one takes up to Sakama Karma Yoga from a materialistic life, one gives up whimsical sinful activities. Okay. Then from Sakama Karma to Nishkama Karma, one gives up Kamya Karmas, one gives up Kamya Karmas. Then when one moves from Nishkama Karma to, but in Sakama Karma Yoga, there is Kamya Karma, Nitya Karma, Naimitika Karma, and Bhakti. In Nishkama Karma Yoga, one gives up Kamya Karma, but does not give up Nitya Karma, Naimitika Karma, and Bhakti. And from Nishkama Karma to Jnana Yoga, one may give up Nitya Karma, Naimitika Karma, and embrace Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga, but one cannot give up Bhakti. And then, where by practice of jnana or Ashtanga Yoga, when one becomes a Jivan Mukta, one should give up that Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga also, but not give up Bhakti. And that Bhakti continues even after achieving liberation. Okay. So that Bhakti should be practiced. So this stage of giving up even the practices of Jnana and Yoga is called as the stage of Jnana Sannyas. Okay. Then he says, Putram cha shishyam cha nrupo gururva mad loka kamo madanugrahartah ittam vimanyur anushishyad atadgyan na yojayet karmasu karma modan kam yojayan manujortam labeta nipatayan nashta drisham hi garte. So he says, the king or the guru desiring to attain my abode in order to obtain my mercy should teach his sons or the students without becoming angry. So without becoming angry means one should have patience and one should be empathetic to the situation of the student. Okay. One should be empathetic to the situation of the student. Every subject expert cannot be a good teacher. Every subject expert cannot be a good teacher, because to be a good teacher, apart from being a subject expert, the one needs empathy, the ability to, not just the ability, but ability and the willingness to uh, to make the student understand. Okay. And another very important qualification of the teacher or a parent, how they can get that empathy, only if they do not have any personal ambition. Only if they do not have any personal ambition, only then it is possible. Okay. So if you don't have personal ambition, it means you put the welfare of the student or the children the top priority. Then there will be patience. Patience will automatically come. Empathy will automatically come. But if the teacher has ulterior motives, if the teacher has other ambitions, okay, then he will not have patience. So a teacher's job is a very critical job, and it has to be done. It has to be taken up by people, of course, apart from having the subject expertise, they should lack any other ambition other than the ambition to serve the students. Serve the students means do whatever is needed so that they can learn. That has to be the only this thing. Only then there will be vimanyuhu, that they will not become angry. This anger means what? Why would a teacher become angry on the student when the teacher already has some other, he is teaching and the student is not understanding? He will become angry when he has some other ambition other than communicating or helping the student learn. And he thinks that, oh, my time is getting wasted here. My time is getting wasted here because this idiot is not understanding properly. Okay. So then one becomes angry. Oh, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. When all these other agendas are there, then it leads to anger. And then we also saw, and he should not instruct the ignorant, bewildered by karma by performing karmas. So the point is, if someone has the faith in bhakti, one should not push that person to engage in karma. Now, in this context, we had a discussion that the principle of na buddhi bedam janayed agyanam karma sanginam joshayet sarva karmani vidwan yuktah samacharan. Krishna says that do not bewilder, the those who are attracted to karma and karma phala. Don't tell them that jnana yoga is better. Yes, a jnana yogi cannot tell, because for jnana yoga, purification is a prerequisite. Purification of heart is a prerequisite. And that purification can come only through karma. Karma means varnashrama, duties. But a bhakti yogi, if he can give even little faith to that person, he can ask him to stop karma and perform bhakti. Okay. Now this question arises, what if we are not immediately able to give him that faith? Should we give him karma? This discussion came up, and this is a very important discussion. I will just touch on this little bit. Okay. Now, the point is, what is the purpose of recommending karma? We have to see. The purpose of recommending karma is at least she remains somewhat, um, uh, at least she remains somewhat, you can say, in a sinless life. Okay. So, which means I think the best as a person, what I would do, and as a representative of the institution of ISKCON, what I will do. These two are very important things. Okay. As a representative of ISKCON, when they see us as a representative of ISKCON, what would be my response? And as an individual, what would be my response? Okay. This is very important to understand. As a representative of ISKCON, we cannot say, sit on the Vyasasana and say, study the Dharma Shastras very diligently. Okay. That would send a very wrong message to the outsiders and insiders alike. Okay. I will never do that. Okay. We cannot say that. Okay. So we cannot promote Dharma Shastras not because Dharma Shastras are bogus, but we don't want to do that because it will send the wrong message as to what does ISKCON stand for. The insiders will be the first ones to get bewildered. The insiders will be the first person to get bewildered, and they will give up studying the Bhakti Shastras and they will start studying the Dharma Shastras. So I would never do it. So what if the recipient, if we are not able to give him the Bhakti Shraddha immediately, then what I would do is only facilitate their accumulating some Agyata Sukriti. I may speak to them about living a moral life, okay, little bit. But at the same time, I would not overtly preach to them the study of Dharma Shastras, not because Dharma Shastras are bogus, but as an institution, we don't want to promote it. It will send the wrong message. First to the insiders. The insiders will get bewildered. I will never do it. Okay. Now, as a one-on-one person, what I would do? As a one-on-one person, if I see one of my friends or someone, if he is already diligently practicing the Dharma Shastras, then I will kind of not disturb it, but simultaneously facilitate some accumulation of Agyata Sukriti so that he develops the Bhakti Shraddha. I would honestly not do anything much different as a person or as a representative of the institution. There would not be an overt, uh, push for Dharma Shastric studies. I don't think that is necessary because there is no time. There is no time. And in today's day and age, with contamination everywhere, to achieve success by practice of karma is practically impossible. Yeah, I may definitely, in general, recommend that person to live as much as possible uh, a life of mode of goodness. That much I will try to encourage rather than introduce Dharma Shastras and all that, because in today's day and age, what people don't have time. Okay. You can't make them do all those things. Okay. Then, Lokaswayam Shreyasi Nashta Drishtir Yortan Samiheta Nikama Kamaha Anyonya Vairaha Sukalesha Hetor Ananta Dukkam Chanaveda Mudaha. The Jiva who has lost sight of his own benefit becomes extremely lusty and desires objects of pleasure, creating mutual enmity for obtaining a particle of happiness. This foolish person does not realize his unending suffering. So to such a person, you cannot just encourage him to do karma. We should somehow um, inspire them to take up to the path of bhakti. Kastam swayam tad abhignyo vipaschit avidyayam anarte vartamanam Drishtva punastam sagrunak kubuddhim prayojayed utpatagam yatandam. What merciful, intelligent, wise person seeing a foolish person in the hole of ignorance will direct him along the same path as if guiding a blind man on the wrong path. So, so these verses indicate that don't push him on the path of karma. Don't push him on the path of karma. Okay. Why? Because he is giving this instruction to those who are devotees. Okay. If at all you have limited endeavor, okay, you have limited endeavor, what you should do, utilize that endeavor to maximize that person, to utilize that endeavor to pull him closer to Krishna, okay, which is help him develop some Agyata Sukriti, help him accumulate some Agyata Sukriti so that it can sometime mature into Shuddha Bhakti. Because with our endeavor, only that much we can do. Otherwise, Gurur na sasyat, Swajano na sasyat, Pita na sasyat, Janani na sasyat, Daivam na tatsyan, na patischa sasyan, na mochayedya samupeta mrityum. Otherwise, if one cannot deliver their dependent, then he cannot accept the role of a guru, relative, father, mother, etc. So this does not mean that except for pure devotees or perfected devotees, no one should get married or anything of that sort. This just means that what is a father's job? A father's job or a mother's job is when the child grows up, give them very good devotional samskaras, devotional environment growing up. And when the right time comes, uh, when you see that faith, he's getting some faith in bhakti, guide him to a guru and allow the guru to take care. It's not everyone's individual responsibility to completely take charge of a living entity's life. Okay. So we should, so this is not what it means that a father thinks that completely it is my responsibility to deliver the child. No. Yeah, it may be your responsibility, but that responsibility means to guide them to the right person who can guide them. Sometimes just merely being the father and mother, sometimes it may kind of disqualify us from uh, giving instructions because beyond a time, a level of familiarity develops. Uh, When that level of familiarity develops, sometimes taking siksha becomes difficult. So even though sometimes you might see the father and mother may be well qualified, they might send their child to another person who may not be as highly qualified, but still, because the child does not have that sense of familiarity with that person, it may be easier for that person to take siksha from that other person. So this is very important. We discussed on this. Okay. So let us start today's discussion. I know I have spent a lot of time recapping, but because this is a very important chapter, I am um, mm, yeah, that's why I've taken some time recapping. So let's continue. Idam shariram mama durvibhavyam sattvam hime hridayam yatra dharmah prishte kritau me yata dharma arad ato himam rishabam prahuraryah. Idam mama shariram durvibhavyam. My body is difficult to understand. Why? Sattvam. Sattvam here refers to Shuddha Sattva, Vishuddha Sattva, spiritual. Idam shariram mama durvibhavyam sattvam hime hridayam yatra dharmaha. Where there is bhakti, yatra dharmaha, me hridayam, there my mind resides. Yatra gayanti mad bhakta tatra tishtami narada, like that. Wherever there is bhakti, there my mind resides. Yad adharma, and whatever is opposite to bhakti, Prishte Kritome is behind me. Arad far away. You see here the uh, he is translating dharma and adharma as bhakti and that which is opposed to bhakti. Because Krishna says, Pratyaksha dharmyam susukam kartum avyayam. Talking about bhakti, he calls it dharmya. So, uh, so therefore one should, why he calls it dharma? Because the acharyas explain, because when one sees that the devotees are sometimes not exactly following the varnashrama dharma, one should not criticize the devotees to be adharmic. One should not criticize the devotees to be adharmic. Therefore, I say bhakti is dharma. And the principle is that dharma is defined according to adhikar. If someone has bhakti adhikar, then Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam is his dharma. If someone has karma adhikar, then Patan Patan, Yajan Yajan, Dana Pratigraha, Shauryam, Tejo, Daksham, Yuddhe, Chapya, Palayanam, these are all, the dharma for those within those who have karma shraddha. So dharma is defined according to adhikar. So because for those who take up to bhakti, it is bhakti adhikar. So they have to, because they have bhakti adhikar, their dharma changes. Uh, Their dharma changes. Okay, like that. Ataha, therefore, mam aryaha prahuhu. Thus the respected people call me Rishabam, the best, or Rishabha. Okay, therefore the respected people call me uh, Rishabam. My body is difficult to understand because it is spiritual. Wherever there is bhakti, my mind resides there. And whatever is opposed to bhakti is behind me, far away. Therefore, the respectable people, they call me as Rishabha. So, he says, where is the Lord to whom we should perform bhakti? And where is the devotee whom we should serve in order to attain bhakti? Okay. Because he said that, where is the Mahat Sevam Dwara Mahor Vimuktais? Okay. Parabhavastavad abodha jato. Sorry. And then he says, Pritirna yavad mai vasudeve na muchyate deho yogena tavat. Ultimately, you said, unless there is uh, preeti towards the Supreme Lord, it is not possible to attain liberation. And also you said, Mahat Sevam Dwara Mahor Vimukta is only through the association with Mahat and the Mahat Seva one can attain perfection or one can attain bhakti. So where is that uh, where is the Supreme Lord whom I should worship? And who is that Mahat whom I should serve? This question arises. There is not even a little effort for you, since in your house the Lord exists as I, your father, and the devotee exists as your brother. Your brother is Bharat Maharaj. So the Mahat is Bharat and the Lord is Rishabha. Okay. This is expressed in two verses. My body is difficult to understand since it is knowledge and bliss, not a material body of a human. It is hard to understand that my body is spiritual substance, whereas others have bodies of material substance such as earth, which is not hard to understand. My mind exists certainly where there is bhakti yoga, so dharma. It is said, Sadhavo hridayam mahyam, the devotees are my heart. And what is contrary to bhakti exists behind me, far away. This means that my mind is not in those things. Because of this, I am called the best of all, Rishabha, like that. Tasmad bhavanto hridayena jataha sarve mahiyam samamam sanabam aklishta buddhya bharatam bhajadvam shushrushanam tadbharanam prajanam. Tasmad, therefore, bhavanto hridayena jataha, because bhakti is there within my heart, you all are born from my heart. Okay. Uh, Sarve Bharatam Bhajadvam, and all of you should worship Bharata. Why? Amum Mahiyamsam Sanabam, your best brother. Aklishta buddhya. With pure intelligence, worship your brother. Tad. By such a worship, Shushrushanam, my worship, uh, by which my worship and Prajanam Bharanam and the protection of the citizens will also be accomplished. Okay. Because I am going to give you these instructions and I am going to leave. So how do we worship you, the Supreme Lord? Just worship your brother and take care of your citizens. Worship your brother, he says. Worship by just merely worshipping your brother. Automatically, my worship and protection of the citizens will be accomplished. So, what does it mean to worship the brother? It means follow his instructions. Follow his instructions and guidelines. By that, automatically, my worship, and taking care of the citizens will both be automatically accomplished. So, Bharatam Bhajadvam. Aklishta Buddhya. With pure intelligence, worship your brother. Hmm. Pure intelligence means with pure devotional intelligence. So he says, you have been produced from a chest, or and thus you are called as Aurasa, because you have been produced from a chest, Urasa. You should worship your brother Bharata. But you have said that one should not have affection to wife, children, and wealth in the house. Huh? So you said that, don't be attached to, relatives. Now you are telling worship your brother. What is this? There seems to be some um, different, you know, there seems to be some difference of opinion. So what is this? Okay. So after forbidding attachment to wives, sons, and brothers, why do you now teach this? So he says, Bharata is the best of the great devotees. I have also said that service to the devotees is the cause of bhakti and liberation. Okay. Yes, uh, I did say worship of or very much attachment to family members is wrong. I did say that, but at the same time, I also said worship of the devotees is very important. Okay, so that is the cause of bhakti and liberation, and Bharata is the best of the great devotees. So then he says, how can we worship him since he is equal to us as a brother? I mean, at least if you say father, he is superior. Brother is equal. How can we worship him? He says, you should not have material vision. Aklishta buddhya. Aklishta buddhya. Bharatam bhajadvam. So material vision means what? He is my equal. Arey, we both came to Krishna consciousness together. Okay. That is also material vision. Okay. We have to see through qualities. We have to see through the eyes of the scriptures. When someone shows higher qualities, better qualities, so what if they came later in Krishna consciousness than us? We can take their association. Okay. Of course, we don't have to embarrass them. We don't have to embarrass them because they will see that, oh, he is my senior. Why is he behaving like that? But without embarrassing, we can take that person's association. It is possible. That is Aklishta Buddhya. So he says, worship him, worship with pure intelligence. We worship you because you are our father and also the Supreme Lord. We serve Narada and other great devotees because they are the causes of bhakti. And because we are princes, we should protect the citizens. So we have to protect the citizens. Yes, he says, by worshipping Bharata, worship of me and protection of the citizens is automatically accomplished. This is my desire. This is my desire. Okay, like that. He says, okay, just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Hare Krishna. I'm sorry. Okay, to summarize, hmm, okay, we are going to cover from ninth verse till 20th verse. Okay, ninth verse till 20th verse. Okay, to summary. So the question is, so what is the way of getting out? Hmm. He says, when the tight knot becomes loose by development of jnana and vairagya through the practice of bhakti, then a person becomes free from the bondage. Okay. And then he says, the above mentioned method for achieving liberation is the path of Bhakti Mishra Jnana, in which the element of Bhakti is secondary. Better than this process are the paths of Jnana Mishra Bhakti and Pure Bhakti, which are characterized by 25 limbs, like devotion to Guru and tolerance of dualities. Like that he described in. This is the essence of 10, 11, 12, 13. These four verses. Then he says, after one destroys the subtle body by the process of Jnana Mishra Bhakti, to progress further, he should give up the jnana portion of his sadhana, but retain the bhakti portion. This is the jnana sannyas. Okay. Then he says, then someone may ask, oh, you mentioned that the qualification for liberation is that one should be convinced of the futility of sense gratification. But what about people who want to enjoy sense gratification? What is the suitable path for them? Is it karma kanda? What is the path for them? If someone uh, does not want to escape this material world, they just want to enjoy in this material world, what is the right path for them? Is it karma kanda? He says, no, not at all. Any teacher of bhakti should never instruct such people on the path of karma kanda. It is like throwing a blind man in a well. The question is then, why do you say that? He says, the jiva is naturally inclined to enjoy. Hence, when he comes in contact with the sense objects that the process of karma offers him, he loses sight of his own benefit and becomes extremely lusty to enjoy it. Creating mutual enmity for obtaining a little happiness, he does not realize his unending suffering. Why would a compassionate and intelligent teacher of bhakti want to misguide his student into such a path? So don't push him on the path of karma. This is the principle. Then the next verse he says, instead of suggesting the path of karma, the teacher of bhakti should give him the path of liberation. That is bhakti. He who cannot deliver a person in samsara is not a guru, a relative, a father or mother, devata or husband. Okay. Like that. Guru na sasyat, swajano na sasyat, pita na sasyat, janani na sasyat. Like that. Okay. We do understand that we should perform bhakti and mahat seva to achieve liberation. Whom should we worship and which mahat to serve? This question arises. So Rishabhdev says, I am the supreme Lord whom you should worship, and my body is difficult to understand since it is spiritual. I am attached to bhakti and I reject what is opposite to bhakti. Okay. I am attached to bhakti and I reject what is opposite to bhakti. Hmm. Uh, the Mahat that you should all worship is Bharata. By worshipping him, automatically my worship and the protection of the citizens will also be accomplished. So don't worry. Okay. So don't worry. Okay. Then he says, because the people whom he was, the sons whom he was instructing were primarily Kshatriyas. Therefore, he he gives some important instructions. Okay, it is not just sufficient that you worship your brother Bharata, but you should also show proper respect to the Brahmanas and take instructions from them. Because uh, even though the Brahmanas may not necessarily be more spiritually progressed than his sons, but still to set the right example, to set the proper social order, uh, to set the proper social order, you should accept instructions from Brahmanas. Kshatriya should accept instructions from Brahmanas. So in that mood, he says, Bhuteshu virudhya uduttamat ye sarisripasteshu sabodhanishtaha Tato manushya pramatastatopi gandharva siddha vibudanugaye devasurebhyo magavat pradana dakshadayo brahma sutastu tesham bhavaparasota virincha viryah samatparoham dvijadeva devah. Amongst the living beings, the snakes are superior to the plants, animals are superior to the snakes, humans are superior to animals, superior to humans are the Gandharvas, superior to them are the Kinnaras, Indra is superior to all of them. Sons of Brahma like Daksha are superior to Indra. Shiva, the son of Brahma, is superior to Daksha, and Brahma is superior to Shiva in the sense of uh, administrative position, not in terms of constitutional position, but in terms of administrative position. Okay. And I am superior to Brahma. The best of the Brahmanas are worshipped by me. Okay. So this is very similar to the third canto also we saw where the Lord says, I worship the Brahmanas, I worship the Brahmanas. There are multiple ways of understanding it. So there the purpose was just to, one sense, to pacify the Kumaras who were all Brahmanas. And another thing, there was also a kind of sarcasm involved there when he was speaking like that. But here Rishabhadev is speaking, Rishabhadev is the Supreme Lord himself. He is speaking that when he says, I worship the Brahmanas, he is just indicating to them that please do understand, if I, the Supreme Lord, I am worshipping the Brahmanas, then how much more seriously you should worship the Brahmanas. So with that in mode, he says that I worship the Brahmanas. In reality, uh, when Rishabhadev says that I worship the Brahmanas, it should be taken to mean I appreciate the service of the Brahmanas in instituting uh, the regular dharma in this world on my behalf. It is more of a sense of appreciation rather than literal worship. Okay, one should understand this. Okay, so then he says, so Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions, in order to teach that the Brahmana should be served, he shows that they are the best amongst all people in 4 verses. Amongst living entities, superior to the plants which do not move are the moving beings such as snakes which can crawl. Superior to them are the animals with intelligence. Superior to them are the followers of the Devatas such as the Kinnaras. The Asuras are superior to them. The Devatas are superior to the Asuras. Uh, the Sandhi is Devasurebhyaha. The Sandhi in Devasurebhyaha is poetic license. Amongst the Devatas, Indra is the best. Okay. Then he says, Daksha, the son of Brahma, is superior to Indra. Shiva, the son of Brahma, is superior to all. The masculine instead of neuter in Virya is poetic license. Brahma is superior to Shiva since he produces him. Because the subject is devotion to Brahmanas, because the subject is devotion to Brahmanas, Brahma is considered superior to Shiva because of his service to the Brahmanas. Okay. So only in that sense. This is clarified by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also here. However, Shiva is superior to Brahma as a Vaishnava and in powers. And I am superior to Brahma. The best Vipras amongst the Brahmanas are worshipped by me. Okay. Then he says, न ब्राह्मणैस्तुलये भूतमन्यत् पश्यामि विप्राः किमतः परं तु यस्मिन् नृभिः प्रहुतं श्रद्धयाहम् अश्नामि कामं न तथाग्निहोत्रे. I do not see anyone equal to the Brahmanas. Brahmanaihi tulaye anyat bhutam na pashyami. Okay. Again, we have to understand here the instruction should be taken. This is an instruction to the Kshatriyas. Okay. This is an instruction to the Kshatriyas. So when the instruction is to the Kshatriyas, okay, then you have to say there is no one greater than the Brahmanas. Okay. Just like uh, when you are talking to, let us say, uh, you have a son, you have a son, or there is a person who is in the armed forces. Okay. There is a person who is in the armed forces. Okay. And in front of his superior, you see, he says that he is your all in all. Whatever he says, you should do. Okay. He is your all in all. Whatever he says, you should do. Okay. And the same person says in the house, he tells his, he, he, he shows that person his father and he says, your father is your all in all. Whatever you say, whatever he says, you should do. So now the question is, as a son and as a family member, he is your authority. That's what it means. And when it comes to work, in your professional work, he is your authority. So one should understand the context. So he says, Bharatam Bhajadvam, worship your brother. And now he says, there is no one equal to the Brahmanas. Does it mean that the Brahmanas are superior to Bharat Maharaj? No, that is not the context. The context is, first he was addressing them as Vaishnavas. Now he is addressing them as Kshatriyas. As Kshatriyas, you play a role as Kshatriyas also. So you should show respect to the Brahmanas and take advice from them when it comes to governance. Okay. So he says, I do not see anyone equal to the Brahmanas. Who is superior to the Brahmanas? I do not accept the offerings at the fire sacrifice as much as I accept to full satisfaction what is offered with faith to the Brahmana's mouth by men. Very similar thing. The Supreme Lord Narayana also spoke to the four Kumaras. Uh, so he says, I cannot compare any other living being to the Brahmanas. Do I see anyone superior to the Brahmanas? No. The reason is given in a verse and a half. Okay, I think we should pause here because we may have some discussion points. Let me not rush too much. Okay, we'll pause here. If there are any quick discussion points, comments, questions, we can take right now. There are some questions in the chat box. Let's take them first. Okay. To the points discussed on one-way and two-way attraction between Jiva and sense objects or other living entities, please clarify what is the role of Maya in the context of the Jiva's desire. Does Maya influence on her own on top of the Jiva's desire? Maya just facilitates. Maya just facilitates whatever the conditioned Jiva, whatever desires he has, Maya just facilitates. That's all. That is the role of Maya. Does Maya create the desires in the Jiva? Uh, I mean, in one sense, what does creation mean? Uh, I mean, in terms of facilitation, by the Jiva in itself cannot get attracted to matter. Asango hi ayam purushaha. But the apparatus that the Jiva needs to get attracted to matter, okay, uh, that is provided by um, that is provided by uh, Maya. Okay. The three modes are provided by Maya. The connection of the Jiva, the illusory connection of the Jiva with the three modes is facilitated by Maya. Okay. And to make the products which are made of the three modes, to make them attractive is facilitated by Maya. All of that is done. Okay. So Maya's role is there. Does Adhikar mean Sukriti only? Yes. For Bhakti Adhikar, we are talking about Sukriti. Yes. Mm. Uh, okay, there is another question. Why ISKCON as an institution is having Daivi Varnashram ministry to promote Varnashram college teaching on name of Srila Prabhupada's statements as 50% job is undone in the context of setting Varnashram, living for being the mode of goodness to practice bhakti. Why? I mean, I think still devotees are trying to figure out what exactly it means. But whatever it means, it should be in line with the teachings of the previous acharyas. Okay. So, and we should also try to understand what Prabhupada would have meant by the word Varnashrama. Okay. So it just means, in my understanding, and based on whatever I have heard from my Guru Maharaj and His Holiness Bhanuswami Maharaj, it is by using the word Varnashrama, it is more of uh, a promotion of a regulated life in bhakti rather than literally promoting the Dharma Shastra type of Varnashrama. A regulated life of bhakti, following the regulations, some facilitation for following the four regulative principles, some facility for uh, uh, a non-ugra karma lifestyle of professions. In my understanding, that's what it means. Not that literally you take all the Vaishnavas and divide them. Oh, you are Brahmanas, you are Kshatriyas, you are Vaishyas, you are Shudras. From now on, you should only do occupation which is according to your Varna. Otherwise, you will get sinful reactions. Not like that. So, I don't think that's what Srila Prabhupada meant, in my understanding. Otherwise, the Purvacharyas are very clear in telling that Varnashrama is not a part of Bhakti. Okay. Or maybe there is one more thing where Prabhupada says that he wants to make, uh, you know, he wants to present to the outside world a prototype. Hmm? He wants to, uh, he wants the devotees to create a prototype for the outside world as to how to properly live a life of Varnashrama. That could be the reason. Not that we ourselves practice it, but we show it to others. Okay, there's next question. How to understand devotees writing books on Hanuman Chalisa, Ramayana, Mahabharata, etc. I don't know. I think we should ask them who is the potential audience. Uh, Probably the outside world. Uh, Not that devotees should not read. Yeah, devotees also can read because anyways there is an inclination to read. Um, there is an inclination to read something interesting, not just the Shastras, because the Shastras are not always interesting, or at least we have not developed that kind of interest in Shastras. So as a duty, we will read, but we need some entertainment also, which is not really unfavorable for our bhakti. So for such purposes, one may write probably. Um, so you just want to read something light. You know, you may rather than reading the mundane news and other such things, you may pick up Ramayana and read. You may pick up Mahabharata and read. That is very good. Uh, so probably for such reasons they are writing, I feel. Uh, but one should be very careful because it should not create a wave that the devotees themselves start considering, these as our preliminary literatures. Um, so these are things which we have to be a little bit careful. Okay, there is a follow-up question. Given the limited time available to study the extensive literature provided by our acharyas, we must consider whether devotees writing on other subjects may inadvertently divert readers from the primary path of studying Bhakti Shastras. Furthermore, our acharyas notably refrained from commenting on Dharma Shastras. If they did not prioritize such commentary, what justifies contemporary devotees undertaking this work? I don't know. Would I do it? Probably not. Uh, or we have to see for whom they are doing it. Because you cannot whitewash a Dharma Shastra and make it uh, Bhakti Shastra. Of course, Ramayana is definitely not a Dharma Shastra, even though there are many principles of Dharma which are very much emphasized there because it is meant for developing a kind of Aishwarya Bhakti towards Lord Ramachandra. So that way, uh, that emphasis on Dharma in Ramayana is not against the principle of developing that Aishwarya Bhakti towards the form of Lord Ramachandra. But when we are talking about mm, uh, Mahabharata is an outright Dharma Shastra, so you cannot make it into Bhakti Shastra as long as they are not. Yeah, of course, the argument is that, well, if people are reading many self-help book and other such things uh, for living a lifestyle, then why not read Mahabharata? Yeah, I mean, okay, uh, uh, for that reason one can read, but but the point is people will get confused. It has the potential to confuse people because any literature people will see it as a praman for implementation, and when they will the main issue is they will get confused with the hierarchy, what to put up, what to put low. Okay, because it is also Vedic literature. The author is the same. Vyasadeva has only written Mahabharat. Vyasadeva has only written Bhagavatam. So when there are conflicting principles, how to reconcile these issues will come. So this is where the problem comes. This is where the problem comes, and our insiders may get really confused. The potential to get confused as to what exactly the parampara is expecting us to follow, there may confusions may arise. That's the only issue. I don't have any issue with this. Yeah, another point Vachunadi Mataji says, if we become unfavorable for bhakti, it may become unfavorable for bhakti if we start mixing the adhikaras of personalities therein and in turn our own. Yeah. So the Dharma Shastras present personalities in a particular way, and we may think that okay, so if Bhishmadev himself is doing like this, if Pandavas themselves are doing like this in Mahabharata, then who are we? We are ordinary people. We should also do like this, like that. The not understanding that the book itself is meant for people with a different adhikar. So unless that education is very clearly and deeply ingrained in the sadhakas, just like that, releasing these literatures and making them study. Um, I mean, this is my personal opinion. Again, I may be crucified for this, uh, but this is my opinion. It can probably cause issues. You already said that who is interested in movies and all, they can read and get to know about Mahabharata. Yeah, yeah. The only thing is, uh, we may approach movies in a particular way. We may approach Mahabharata in a particular way. Uh, we may uh, we may see it as another aspect of Bhagavatam. So that's where the problem comes. So if we clearly understand the approach of approaching Mahabharata, especially the teachings part, uh, if we have clear understanding, then it is favorable. Okay, there are two hands up. Let's take the verbal questions. Yes, Keshav Priya Mataji.
Resham Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams.
Then
Prabhuji, you explained many times, Prabhuji, there's a flow of 14th shloka to that 18th shloka, Prabhuji.
yeah,
Prabhuji, but somewhere in today's recap, I'm still having some doubts in that explanation, Prabhuji. Prabhuji,
yeah.
here in 14th shloka, Shubhadev seems to suggest even jnana sannyas and go high in bhakti, Prabhuji.
Hmm.
Uh,
No,
and
Jnana Sannyas means go high in bhakti means that is
mhm.
the gradual path only, not the
Yeah, yeah,
path
yeah,
of,
yeah,
yeah,
Praj. Yeah, Praj.
yeah.
But again, after 14, that 15, 16, 17, he's talking about karma yoga, not it's not advisable like that he's talking now, Prabhuji. Why should you suggest for a Jiva Karma Yoga? Because if he indulges, he is already is in darkness like that. The three shlokas are explained now, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what is
So
my
which,
yeah, my
yeah.
confusion is Prabhuji for Jnana Yoga. You explained with the map also, mind map also the other day. But for
Yeah.
Jnana Yoga, the step of Karma Yoga is inbuilt. I mean, no one can skip Karma Yoga to go to Jnana Yoga. That you
Yeah.
explained 100 times at least in Bhagavad Gita and everywhere, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
here,
So
mm, mm,
now he discussed about Jnana Yoga. He discussed about Jnana Mishra Bhakti. And then he is instructing, but if
mm,
you are preachers of Shuddha Bhakti, if you
mm,
yourselves have Shuddha Bhakti Adhikar,
mm,
because you cannot tell a person who himself is a Jnana Yogi that don't instruct karma to them, because he cannot
that's my
instruct
doubt.
bhakti to them.
Mm,
But because you are bhaktas, you, of course, it's not that they cannot be pushed in karma yoga. So don't push them in karma yoga means
mm,
uh, don't, it has two meanings. It has two meanings. One meaning is that let karma not be their only choice. Also facilitate bhakti. That is one
mm,
understanding. Okay.
mm.
And another understanding is that just like we saw the example of Ambarish Maharaj. So Ambarish Maharaj used to um, perfectly perform his own Varnashrama duties externally very nicely so that the citizens get the inspiration to follow their Varnashrama duties nicely. But at the same time, every day evening, he used to arrange lot of Krishna Katha and Krishna Kirtan by very exalted Vaishnavas throughout his kingdom so that the citizens gradually get an opportunity for um,
Bhakti.
gradually get an opportunity
Mm,
for bhakti. So when he
mm,
says, don't push them in karma means don't
mm,
leave karma as the only choice for them to practice.
mm,
That is how we
mm.
should understand. This is one
Oh,
understanding. Another
mm,
understanding is here karma should mean sakama karma. I mean
okay.
just enjoying the fruits of one material fruits of one's actions. That's how we should understand.
Oh, so here's advice for Jnana Sannyas first, Prabhuji, from till 13 shloka. I mean, the 13 shloka he advised, and when 14 shloka is even after doing that, you will give up the means, it is which is Jnana Sannyas, Prabhuji. I mean,
So
Jnana Yoga
don't
is advising.
don't see those
Mm,
statements as
mm.
a logical
Okay, okay,
these
Prabhuji.
things.
Okay,
It is not
okay,
like
okay,
that.
okay, okay.
That is he described the path of Jnana Yoga and Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Then he said, but if you are a preacher of Bhakti,
Mm,
then don't just keep pushing them only for karma. You have the responsibility of facilitating their developing some bhakti also. That is how we should
mm.
understand it.
Yeah, this is very clear now. Prabhuji, and again, you explained two scenarios now, Prabhuji, as an institution, as an individual. You
Yeah,
explained now,
but in both
Prabhuji.
cases, my answer was the same.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Both
Yeah,
you said you should act in a way that we should give Jnata Shukriti only now, Prabhuji.
yeah,
There is no difference in both the ways now, Prabhuji.
yeah. But
Okay.
I would do the same both
Yeah, that's what I
as a
was
represent
thinking. Both you suggested the same thing, but you presented as two scenarios.
two
That is why.
scenarios, and I said what I would do.
Oh.
And one thing is non-negotiable for sure. As a representative of an institution, we cannot do that.
Mm,
As an
mm,
individual, I would not do for one reason is in this Kali Yuga to practice it is not possible. Second reason, I have zero knowledge of Dharma Shastra, so what will I preach to them?
So, as a devotee practicing in ISKCON, if we come across devotees, I mean, devotees in the sense of following karma yogas, Prabhuji,
Hmm.
so only thing we can give is Ajnata Shukriti. That means some liking towards devotee. That's the only thing we can give, Prabhuji,
Yeah,
for
just
them.
facilitate some Agyata Sukriti, that's all.
That's all. We can give them prashadam or speak, being nice to them. Only that thing we
Yeah,
can do.
yes.
So we should not. So no, no, this is not. You should not do this way. Like that. We shouldn't say anything like that, Prabhuji. There.
Yeah, we don't have to unnecessarily, if we say
disturb
that
their
this is
faith.
useless, if you say this is
Uh,
useless, they will say, no, you are useless. Because
yes.
unnecessarily you are rubbing their false ego.
Mm,
We need
yeah,
not do that.
Prabhuji. Because most of the people we come across, they are in this stage only, Prabhuji. So, as you said, rubbing also has happened, and then we realize later that we shouldn't have done this. This is a good
Yeah.
advice, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Shiv Kumar Prabhu,
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dhanavad, Prabhu.
Dandavat Prabhu.
So, Prabhu, on this question of the one-way and two-way attraction, Prabhu, on Maya's role. So, whenever we hear this thing that Maya bewilders, Maya tries to pull back, does that technically mean it's our own desire and there isn't any external entity that is trying to influence us? Is that how we understand, Prabhu?
Nay, it just means that Maya does it only to strengthen us
Hmm.
uh, and ensure that we do not prematurely attain, uh, we do not prematurely land in the spiritual world without
Hmm.
sufficient attachment to Krishna and sufficient detachment from matter.
Okay.
So
Okay.
again and again, such difficult tests come
Hmm.
so that we pass the test and become properly qualified to attain the spiritual world. So that is the
Hmm.
way we should see.
Hmm.
So the
Hmm.
point is that there is no evil force in this world that is conspiring against us.
Hmm. Hmm.
There is no conspiracy.
Hmm.
Everything that is happening is everyone is on Krishna's side and Krishna is on our side.
Hmm. Hmm.
There is no one against us.
Hmm.
Everyone, every single thing that is happening in a
Okay.
devotee's life
Hmm.
is an orchestration by Krishna through the agency of Maya.
Hmm.
It is for our betterment only. So there is
Hmm.
no conspiracy theory. But the
Hmm.
only thing is, we need to pray that Krishna, what is it that you want me to learn from this?
Hmm.
Because I know this whole orchestration is so that I can learn the right lessons
Hmm.
and move forward. But
Hmm.
but can you please help me understand what exactly you want me to learn from this? Like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So Prabhu, you used a word for devotees, but what about for non-devotees, Prabhu? Maya's role, is that the same? To
Ma-
check them before they want to move
yeah.
towards
So the
their goal of
Maya's
liberation?
yeah Maya's role is the same for everyone,
Hmm.
depending on wherever they are.
Hmm.
Maya is not evil for devotees. Maya is not evil for non-devotees.
Hmm. Hmm.
Maya is not evil for even uh, any of the other living entities in other species.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, Maya
Hmm.
is favorable.
Hmm.
We don't have that kind of a Maya acting, against Krishna, that kind of
Hmm.
understanding we don't have.
Hmm.
The satanic understanding of Maya is not something that we have.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm. Hmm.
Maya is favorable
Hmm.
for um, for all living entities. So
Hmm.
depending on wherever they are,
Hmm.
Maya facilitates them to take the next step.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. So, Prabhu, just hopefully I'm not dragging this, but just trying to understand the technicality. So, when we talk about this one-way attraction to sense objects, Prabhu, it seems that the desire of me trying to enjoy the sense object and to get out of the desire to move away to aspire for something higher is in my control. It's what it sounds. But when it comes to other living entities, you are mentioning that it's not the bondage is not just one way, but it is two way. The other entity also has to.
Provided the other entity has attachment. But it may
Mm,
happen that our attachment to the other living entity may also be one way only.
mm,
That is there.
correct,
Here we
Prabhu.
are talking about when there is a relationship, pre-existing relationship where
Mm,
both people are attached to each other.
correct, correct.
Okay.
Uh,
But sometimes we may have cases where
mm,
the uh, where between two living entities, only one living entity is attached, the other one is detached. That is
correct,
also
correct.
possible.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. So I am taking the case of two-way this thing, Prabhu. Say there is two-way attraction, and I have
Mm,
kind of trying to get out of that attraction, but
mm.
still doesn't it mean that the other persons attraction would create a bandage which is outside of my control.
Possible. Yeah, it is
Hmm.
possible.
That's where I was
I mean,
thinking.
outside of your control means,
Hmm.
uh,
My
you
choice,
know,
Prabhu, basically my choice, or I don't know, desire out on top of
I
my
mean,
desire.
yeah, your desire may be there, but for certain things you may need the cooperation of that person. If you
Hmm.
don't get that cooperation, unless we
Hmm.
are Paramahamsas,
Hmm.
then it is completely independent of the other person's desire.
Ah, ah.
But if we are not Paramahamsas, then we may get influenced.
Okay.
Because there will always be loopholes
Hmm.
which can kind of catch you. They may utilize those loopholes to control
Hmm. Hmm.
because their attachment is there,
Hmm.
and they know that okay, you may not be attached to them, but
Hmm.
there could be some common thing which may be your weak point, which
Hmm.
may be under their control. So they
Hmm.
can use that to control. But the Paramahamsas don't have any such weak points. So yeah, they cannot be controlled.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. Okay, Prabhu. So ultimately, Prabhu, the somehow there is something on my end which kind of would give an handle in terms of leaving that attachment open. It's not
Yeah,
just I can be completely pure and still somebody else can have attachment and try to pull me from my aspiration or something of that sort.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Thank you so much. Great.
Right. Shyam Sundaranand Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dhanavad Pranam.
Dandavat Prabhu.
Very nice this discussion on the Dharma Shastra part. I was just wondering, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Bahu Shastre Bahu Vakya Chitta Brahma Hai Sadhya Sadhana Shrestha Na Hoy Nischay.
Hmm.
So, because if we read so many literature, then we get confused about the goal and
Yeah,
process.
yeah,
That is one point.
yeah.
And then there is emphasis on being I mean there is, if we see devotees,
Hmm.
if we see the acharyas themselves,
Mm-hmm.
they are
Mm-hmm.
all well read in all the other literatures other than the bhakti shastras also, means means nana shastra vicharanaika nipuno sadharma samsthapako, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
they have read all the shastras, bhakti
Hmm.
shastras, as well as the
Hmm.
other literature also, and then they
Correct.
have given the essence for us,
Essence. Yeah.
right? So this
Yes.
is one way. This
Yeah.
is one extreme is like we are thinking that if we read so many things, we get confused, and the
Yeah.
other person is who have established this principle of bhakti for us. They
Hmm.
are actually well read in all the literatures,
Yeah. Correct.
right? Yeah. So now,
Hmm.
uh, for a sadhaka, normal
Hmm.
sadhaka, uh,
Hmm.
general person,
Hmm.
even the sadhakas fall under different categories. One who is
Yeah.
novice, one who chanted the holy name,
Hmm.
and then one who is a madhyamadikari, who
Yeah.
is these all categories are there, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So, and then uttama bhaktas are also like Gaur Kishore Das Babaji did not read
Hmm.
all the shastras, but he
Hmm.
knows the essence of all the shastras, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
So then now the it becomes a bit confusing. So
Hmm.
on the one hand, we say that we should not read. On the
Hmm.
other hand, those people who are establishing the way forward
Hmm.
have to read to
Yeah.
establish the way forward, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And also the contemporary situation also has to be taken care. Now, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and even Prabhupada for that point, when
Hmm.
they have established the principles for ISKCON, they
Hmm.
have taken the contemporary situation into note, and also
Hmm.
expecting a futuristic approach for that.
Hmm.
They have laid down some principles which could
Hmm.
be little axiomatic, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Having said that, every acharya has to deal with the current situation.
Yeah. Acharya has to deal with the current situation, not
Yes,
everyone.
correct. Not everyone, correct.
Hmm.
So now, who in this situation, like how do we actually say whether this is right and whether this is wrong? And I am not trying to vouch for those people who are writing any literature also. I am trying to clear up my understanding, like
Yeah.
how we have to approach in this case, what
Yeah.
is to be accepted and what is not to be accepted. Right.
Yeah. So now they are, if you accept that Nana Shastra Vicharaneka Nipunau, do you accept
Hmm.
that the Shastra, that the Acharyas are Nana Shastra Vicharaneka Nipunau?
Yeah.
If you accept that, then Sadharma Samstapaka has already happened.
Correct.
Then
Agreed.
accept it. Accept
Okay.
it. They have done. Lord Shiva drank the poison and gave the non-poisonous things. So we
Correct.
don't have to all drink the poison, and not that they are poisonous, but the
Hmm.
point is already he has done.
Yes.
They have done it. They have
Correct.
done it and given the essence. And the problem is people don't have time even to study the essence.
Correct.
So why
Correct.
distract from the non-essence?
Agreed.
That is the point.
Yeah.
That is the point. So, so if they have already done the hard work for us, then why we need to do it now? Especially when we don't have the time.
Now,
So
the question is like, who is the acharya and who is the person whom the acharya is vouching?
whom means I don't understand.
Now, I am asking like who. Now we are agreeing that Prabhupada is the acharya after Rupa Goswami, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So and
Prabhupada,
then
Bhakti
in the
Siddhanta
future
Thakur, all of
also
them.
there will be acharyas. It's a
Yeah.
perennial thing which
Yeah.
acharyas come.
Yeah.
Now we are ready to accept Prabhupada as the acharya,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And even if you ask Prabhupada's god brothers, they may have different opinions about that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So now having an ISKCON setup, also there could be acharyas,
Yeah.
right?
Shantir avyartha kalatvam viraktir manashunyata asha banda samutkanta namagane sadaruchi asaktis tadgunakyane pritis vasati stale. Whoever
Ah,
has these qualifications, they are qualified.
very good, right? So so we have to. So what my point is like we have to have some idea, contemporary ideals to follow what to understand what even Prabhupada said.
Yeah. But for that there has to be some consistency in the pramana. That is the most basic thing. So the
Agreed.
pramana for throughout, starting with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, has been Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumarto Mahan. Srimad
Agreed.
Bhagavatam and those literatures which our acharyas felt was absolutely essential for the practicing Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they have already commented on it. So there can be, and you know what the subsequent acharyas did? It's not that, okay, Jiva Goswami has already commented, Rupa Goswami has already, or Sanatan Goswami has already commented on Bhagavatam. Let me comment on Padma Puran. Let me comment on Mahabharat Mithil. Let me comment on Ramayana. No, they did not do that. Jiva Goswami did not do. Subsequent acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Baldev Vidyabhushan, none of them did not do. None of them did do. Bhaktivinoda Thakur did not do. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur did not do. Srila Prabhupada did not do. None of his god brothers did.
But
They kept on
I
writing
also
again and
heard.
again. But
No,
they
I
kept on
also
writing
heard
more.
that.
One second, let me complete, Prabhu. They
Yeah.
kept on writing more and more commentaries on Bhagavatam only.
Yeah.
They did not. So they could have at least they could have thought, okay, there is no commentary on Padma Puran, let me write. There is no commentary on Vishnu Puran, let me write. No, they just kept on writing more commentaries on Bhagavatam. Why did Prabhupada have to, when he had such less time, why did he have to write another commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam? He could have commented on some other literature.
Shall I
Yeah.
ask, Prabhu?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I heard. I mean, I may be wrong. But I heard that Prabhupada also wanted to write on Ramayana and Ramayana, especially I know. Prabhupada
Yeah.
wanted to write on Ramayana.
Yeah.
So, but if you just have to walk back what you said, the acharyas did not do, but Prabhupada wanted to do.
Yes,
It's not that
Prabhupada wanted
Prabhupada
to
did
do.
not wanted to do.
Yeah, but Prabhupada said he wanted to do. The fact is he did not do.
Yeah, I mean that.
So
At
the
least I don't
point
know how
is,
we take it, but if
okay,
we want,
yeah,
yeah,
I
but
would say,
yeah,
I would say he did say that he wanted to, if I had time, I would have translated them also. Prabhupada did say that. But having said that, so then, which means whatever were most important, he did first translate them. Correct?
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
So if someone has thoroughly studied those things, then they can read. No problem.
Yes, that's the point. So I am not asking a newbie to go and read other literatures, but at
Yeah.
least after reading all the Prabhupada's books and understanding all the literatures properly, who have
And what
clarity.
is the, and we will end with this one point. What
Yeah.
is the sign? What is the proof
Mm,
that they have studied those things properly? It
mm,
means
mm,
whether you quote from Mahabharata or Ramayana,
mm,
the essence of Bhagavatam, which is Shuddha Bhakti, Jnana Karmadi Anavrita Bhakti, and Bhakti towards Krishna of Vrindavan without any blemish should be presented. If it is presented, then it is accepted.
agreed. Yeah.
Okay. So, any further questions we'll take tomorrow, bro. We are
Okay.
already
Sure.
short
Thank
of
you.
time.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you very much. For those of you who have also raised your hands, I apologize. I'm 3 minutes over time and I'm breaking my vow. So I'm sorry. We will have to end here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Vishwanath